An autumn morning in Florence. Soft sunlight streamed through a window covered in ivy vines. Inside a small room, Rosa sat sketching a lion resting beneath a baobab tree. The walls were plastered with photos of wild animals, a silent tribute to a dream no one had ever believed in. On the desk lay a rejection letter from the Institute of Ecology. But Rosa wasn't upset. She had been quietly preparing for something far greater, a journey to Masai Nyota, a wild sanctuary in Africa. That evening's dinner was quiet and tense. Her parents strongly opposed the idea. To them, it was a reckless fantasy. But Rosa had made up her mind. The plane ticket was booked. The volunteer application had been approved weeks ago. At dawn, she left home with nothing but a suitcase and a lion-shaped pendant, a gift from a little African friend, long ago. No one came to say goodbye. Only her cat quietly watched her from the window. On the plane, Rosa closed her eyes, her heart steady. Ahead of her lay the savannah, a place where dreams could finally come alive. Masai Nyota welcomed Rosa with searing sunlight and the dry, sun-scorched scent of earth. The tiny ranger station stood nestled in a vast sea of golden grass, where wind and lion roars took turns awakening the dawn. On her first day, Rosa was given a simple task: to track signs of the northern lion pride. She set out with 2 local rangers, following a pre-approved safe route. But her eagerness made her lose step. A separate cluster of paw prints led southeast, toward a place untouched, unmarked on any map. Without a word, Rosa broke off from the group. Drawn by a silent thrill, she followed the trail as if chasing a miracle. The savannah quickly swallowed her silhouette. The deeper she went, the taller the grass, the quieter the wind. But instead of lion tracks, she found bullet casings scattered on the ground. A strange burnt smell rose ahead. Then, footsteps. Sudden. Behind her. Rosa turned, shoved to the ground. A group of masked men, armed with guns and nets, closed in without a word. Before she could resist, she was tied to a tree with thick rope. Her mouth gagged. Her tracker ripped from her hand. No one knew she had strayed. No one knew where she was. The late afternoon wind crept across the plains, carrying the echo of distant gunfire. At the Western Ranger Station, no one realized that a single misstep had just lit the fuse to a coming tragedy. The blazing sun beat down from above. Rosa was tied to a withered tree in the middle of the tall grasslands. Like an object, discarded. The rope bit deep into her wrists, cutting off circulation. Her limbs slowly going numb. Sweat ran backward into her eyes, burning like fire. The poachers didn't care. They spoke in a strange tongue, laughing, then vanished. As if she were nothing more than a nuisance, not even worth killing. No water, no weapon, no hope. A sharp gust of wind rustled the grass, revealing a small glint of metal around Rosa's neck, her lion head pendant, catching the sun, the last piece of why she had come here. Flies began swarming her cracked, parched lips. In the distance, a pack of hyenas appeared on the horizon. They moved in silence, drawn by the faint, dying scent of prey. Rosa couldn't move anymore. Her strength was gone, her mind fading. But in that razor-thin moment between life and death, the bushes ahead suddenly rustled. A low, guttural growl rumbled through the air. The hyenas froze. A massive shadow emerged from the tall grass. slow, heavy, powerful. Not a human. A full-grown male lion. Its amber-yellow eyes scanned the wild, and then locked onto Rosa, still bound to the tree. It didn't charge, it didn't roar, it just walked forward, slowly, silently. No threat, no rage, only presence. The wind stilled, the grass froze. Time itself seemed to stop. The lion drew closer, its golden coat darkened by sun and dust, muscles rippling beneath taut skin. Each movement a display of sheer power, its eyes fixed on Rosa, not like a predator studying prey, but like a soul trying to remember. Rosa shifted slightly. The ropes wouldn't budge, but the lion had smelled the blood dripping from her wrists. A soft breeze swept through. Her pendant stirred, catching the light, reflecting the sun in a golden flash. The lion squinted. Then, all at once, it lowered its massive head and pressed its forehead, gently, against her shoulder. Not a wild instinct, but something far deeper. Rosa knew that feeling. Back in her final year of university, she had cared for an orphaned lion cub named Kanu at the Student Conservation Center in Florence. It had been abandoned at just a few weeks old, and she was the first person to feed it, by hand. The lion before her now could be no one else. Kanu had grown, and he remembered. No further signs were needed. Kanu stretched forward and bit hard into the rope. Snap! The sound echoed in the stillness. Rosa's wrists were free, bloodied, but still alive, still feeling. But Kanu didn't stop. He let out a thunderous roar, a deep, resounding warning that shook the bushlands. A pack of hyenas had been circling at the edge of the grass, but with a single glance from Kanu, they scattered, instantly. Rosa tried to pull herself up, but her body was too weak. Kanu stepped beside her, lowered himself to the ground, as if inviting her. There was no other choice. Rosa leaned against his shoulder, and under the burning midday sun, a lion carried a human. Step by step, slow and steady, back toward the west, where the ranger station waited behind the acacia trees. As the sunlight slanted down the hillside, Rosa was found. A patrol team, just departing the ranger station, spotted her lying at the forest's edge. Her head resting on flattened grass, surrounded by overlapping lion tracks. Big, round, deep, as if the creature had never left her side. Not until it was sure she was safe. Back at the station, still weak but breathing, Rosa made an urgent request. Launch a search, immediately. The tracker the poachers had stolen was still sending a faint signal from deep within the forbidden zone. A careless mistake on their part, and the only clue they had. That night, the rapid response team was deployed. Spotlights cut through the tall grass. Infrared scanners swept every bush. Rosa stood inside the control room, eyes fixed on the GPS map, her heartbeat sinking with every footstep of the search team out there. Then, a battered pickup truck, found hidden in a low basin of grass. In the back, a metal cage, 2 lion cubs inside, muzzles bound tight. Beside them, wooden crates marked biological transport. The perfect disguise for smuggling endangered animals out of Africa. The raid was swift. The poachers never saw it coming. Guns seized, cages broken, and those silent creatures in the dark were given life once again. Rosa stood in the open yard as the truck carrying the prisoners drove away, its tires carving deep lines in the dry, cracked earth. Behind her, the freed lions began to fade into the night. They never looked back. Still, she stood there, her eyes scanning every bush, every shadow in the grass, as if waiting for something. And then a low growl echoed from far away. Not loud, not fierce, but just enough for her to understand. He's still watching, and he's still alive. Florence returned to its blue skies, its old terracotta rooftops leaning gently beneath the sun. Rosa stood on the terrace of her old apartment, cradling a small cactus in her arms, her gaze still fixed toward the south, toward the grasslands, the red sands, and the wild breath of life. That continued on, with no need for human eyes to witness it. The international media called her the ranger saved by a lion. Newspapers filled her name with grand titles. But Rosa knew the story was never truly hers. It belonged to something greater, a bond beyond language, beyond species, beyond memory itself. Something raw, something pure. A photo of baby Kanu, with floppy ears and eyes still half closed, curled up peacefully in her lap, hung right above her desk. Beside it, the lion head pendant in silver, now tarnished, still and silent, like a promise that never needed repeating. She didn't return to Masai Nyota right away, but in every letter she sent to her team, there was always one quiet question. Did Kanu come back? The answer was never clear. But Rosa knew. What truly mattered wasn't whether they would meet again. It was the belief in memory, in the goodness that a wild soul could carry for a lifetime.